Reflections on words in human life. The power and influence of words. The most powerful tool in human life is speech. A single word can save a life or lead to death. Words can create love, but they can also cause war. The rise and fall of societies ultimately begin with words. For leaders, politicians, and ordinary people alike, words determine the course of destiny. Therefore, words must never be regarded as mere sounds. Words are the energy of the soul. Depending on their weight and quality, they can uplift or crush another person. Speech is not only communication, it is the production and transmission of energy. 2. Words and health. Health is deeply connected to words. Diseases such as cancer are often linked to weakened immunity, and immunity itself is shaped by the quality of our speech. When we hurt others with harsh or negative words, that energy returns to us and undermines our well-being. But when we offer words of courage, encouragement, and kindness, the same positive energy flows back and strengthens us. There are cases where patients who withdrew into the mountains, cut off from quarrels and harmful speech, began to recover. They were not healed by herbs alone, but by silence, by refraining from wounding others through careless words. Conversely, those who continued to complain and hurt others with their words found no cure, no matter how much treatment they received. 3. Communication and understanding. Words exist to create understanding. If another person cannot understand what we say, the failure lies not with them but with us. Complaining that they did not understand me is itself a mistake. True speech ensures that others comprehend. Equally important is the ability to listen first. When we speak without fully listening, errors and conflicts are inevitable. Human conversation unfolds in stages. At first, only the surface is revealed, and only with trust do people open their deeper selves. Rushing into deeper talk too quickly only creates misunderstanding and pain. 4. The principle of authority and need, gap and Yule. Life operates through relationships of giver and receiver, commonly called gap and Yule in Korean. The gap is the one who has the power to give. The Yule is the one who needs and receives. Authority does not come from age or social title, but from whether one has the power to provide. When the weaker party, ill, attempts to correct or command the stronger party, gap, harm inevitably follows. Disregarding this natural order of relationships leads only to conflict and suffering. Recognizing and respecting this balance is essential for proper communication and social harmony. 5. Do not blame others. The root of suffering is never others, but always ourselves. To blame others is one of the gravest errors in life. No matter how intelligent or educated we may be, shifting responsibility outward weakens us and draws misfortune. Nature's law is clear. If I am at fault, I will bear the consequences. 6. Knowledge and words. Human beings do not live on material nourishment alone. The body needs physical food, but the soul requires knowledge, an immaterial energy. Without knowledge, the soul remains weak and easily swayed. But when knowledge is rightly absorbed and expressed through speech, it becomes a powerful force that can shape individuals, society, and even history. Words without origin or honesty, plagiarized or pretentious words, lose power. But words grounded in truth, carefully refined and responsibly delivered, inspire others and build trust. Speech must always be acknowledged as transmission, not self-ownership, if it is to remain authentic and effective. 7. Conclusion. The study of words. We are entering an age where words decide everything. Leaders and politicians will rise or fall by the words they speak. For all people, speaking well is not about eloquence alone, but about the ability to ensure true understanding. And to speak well is to listen well. Listening well leads to deeper understanding. And true understanding transforms speech into energy that heals, uplifts, and guides. Words are the power of the soul, and only those who master this power can influence others and shape the world. In short, words are both the greatest gift and the greatest test given to humanity. Mastering speech is the path to health, to harmonious relationships, and to building a society where energy flows rightly. Key summary: words in human life. Words are the power of the soul. Words are not just sounds, they are energy from the soul. A single word can save or destroy a life. And human society rises and falls through words. To words and health. Illness, even cancer, can be linked to words. Hurting others with harsh words weakens your own immunity. Encouraging and kind words strengthen both yourself and others. Communication and understanding. The purpose of speech is to help others understand. If someone cannot understand, the fault lies with the speaker. Always listen fully before you speak. 4. The principle of giver and receiver, gap and Yule. Life is governed by the relationship between giver, gap, and receiver, Yule. The one who has power to help is the gap. The one in need is the Yule. If the weaker party tries to correct the stronger, conflict and harm follow. Do not blame others. The root of all suffering is not others but ourselves. And blaming others only brings misfortune. So life improves when we take responsibility instead of shifting blame. 6. Knowledge and words. The body lives on food, but the soul lives on knowledge. Knowledge, when expressed truthfully in words, can transform society. The words without truth or origin are powerless, but honest words inspire. 7. Conclusion. The study of words. We live in an age where words decide everything. And to speak well is not to be eloquent, but to make others truly understand. By listening well and speaking truthfully, we heal others and ourselves. Jaitan. In short, words are humanity's greatest gift and also its greatest test. Words can harm or heal. Words can break or strengthen relationships. Words can destroy a society or rebuild it. This is the story based on the above articles, The Weight of Words. In the heart of Seoul, attorney Yoon Ho lived by his words. His sharp arguments and commanding voice often swayed the courtroom, winning him countless cases. But outside of court, his words cut like blades. He pointed out flaws mercilessly, mocked his juniors, and even at home his speech was laced with criticism. "What is this document? Even a rookie would laugh at it," he snapped at a junior associate. At first, colleagues respected his brilliance. Yet slowly, they began to avoid him. The office grew cold, and even his own family became silent in his presence. "Why bother talking to Dad? He'll just say we're wrong anyway," his teenage son muttered once. Then came the devastating news: early-stage cancer. In that moment, Yoon Ho didn't think of his trophies or his wealth. He thought of the countless harsh words he had thrown at others, each one like a scar. During treatment, he met an elderly man in the hospital ward. The old man spoke little, simply gazing at the trees outside with a faint smile. One day, unable to hold back, Yoon Ho asked, "Sir, how do you look so calm, even while fighting cancer?" The old man nodded slowly. "I once went into the mountains, not to cure my body, but to cure my words. When I stopped speaking harshly, when I stopped wounding others with careless remarks, my spirit grew lighter. Illness wasn't the enemy. The true enemy was the harm I had caused with my tongue." That night, Yoon Ho lay awake, recalling every word he had spoken. The times he humiliated his staff, the cutting remarks to his wife, the indifference toward his son. It dawned on him, those words had returned to weaken his own body and spirit. After leaving the hospital, he began a quiet experiment. To a young colleague, he said, "Well done. I couldn't have managed without you." To his wife, he admitted, "I've been unfair. I'm sorry." To his son, he asked, "What do you think? I want to hear your opinion." The changes were immediate. Smiles returned to the office. Conversations filled the dinner table again. He realized with amazement, one gentle word could change the atmosphere of an entire room. Doctor. Months later, his doctors were surprised. Your recovery is faster than expected, they said. But Yoonho knew the truth. It wasn't just medicine. Words had become his healing power. Back in the courtroom, his style transformed. No longer did he aim to crush his opponents. Instead, he spoke clearly, calmly, seeking to help others understand. His words were softer now, but carried greater weight than ever before. One evening, his son whispered, "Dad, I like coming home these days. Talking with you feels good." At that moment, Yoonho understood. Words are not weapons of power, but breath that gives life. Closing words can cut like knives, or they can shine like light. Through illness, Yoonho learned their true weight and opened a second chapter in his life. And he made a vow. From now on, my words will not wound, they will heal.